Some fish are built to kill, while others are just built to suffer. In this video, you'll live through 7 fish lives that only get worse the deeper you go. Starting with the first one, the Goliath tigerfish. You hatch from an egg in a shallow river in Congo. Around you, thousands of eggs split open at the same time, sending tiny bodies drifting and turning in the water. A month ago, your mother laid over 750,000 eggs in this river, and everyone that hatches is already fighting to survive. You push free, but then an older sibling drifts closer towards your direction. His body is thicker, and his jaws are already open waiting for you to approach. You look at him, and he stares straight back at you like he's expecting you to give up your own life. Then, he lunges straight at your head. But you twist just in time, slipping under his jaws as they snap shut where you just had been a second ago. You swim upwards and twist your body in the current. Then you look down at him again. He doesn't hesitate. He opens his mouth wide and strikes again, but he misses. He's trying to eat you because Goliath tigerfish are cannibals. Only the strongest out of the group survive, and since he's bigger than you have no chance at winning. But you don't care. You're the protagonist. You have plot armor. He prepares to bite you one more time, but you decide to turn and swim away. Your tail flicks hard against the water and you position your body downwards as you escape from his reach. He doesn't chase you. Instead, he turns around to another sibling that drifted too close while watching the interaction and bites down, tearing a strip of its flesh away. You don't stop to watch. You swim quickly, pushing forward until the big shape fades behind you. The river is filled with smaller bodies like yours, each one darting and turning in the current, all trying to avoid getting eaten. You stay with them for now. You don't trust them, but they're not as big as the one you escaped. They're not biting at you yet, and for today, that's enough. Skip forward a few weeks, and you're swimming in the river with your siblings. You're around 15 centimeters long now, built for killing, with 32 sharp teeth. You drift low in the water with your jaws half open, snapping at whatever drifts close enough. Your diet mainly consists of tiny scraps of fish and drifting plankton that slides into your open mouth. Then you see a small fish turning in front of you. It's slightly bigger than you, but you decide to try your luck anyway. You lunge forward, tearing a piece of its flesh away. A sibling rams into your side, trying to force you back from the kill. You push forward, turning your head to bite deeper, feeling the soft body split beneath your teeth. Another sibling slams into you, biting at the same spot. But you don't let go. You bite again, pulling back hard until there's nothing left to tear. Then you see him, a sibling that's drifting far away. He's smaller than the rest and too slow to catch anything. He hovers just outside your reach, watching for scraps. But instead of letting him eat, you turn and bite him first, teeth locking into his side. He jerks forward, trying to break free, but you bite again. The others see it too and rush in, biting and tearing. His body kicks once, then goes still. You leave what's left behind and swim forward, opening your jaws halfway and keeping your body steady, just waiting for the next chance to feed. You're 5 months old now. Your body has thickened, close to 1 kilogram in weight. You're 60 centimeters long, and your muscles feel stronger every day. You still move with your siblings at first. They snap at the drifting scraps and small fish that twist and dart through the water. You join in, biting when something drifts close, moving as part of the group. But even then, you don't move like they do. You're quicker. Your head turns faster. Your bites land harder. One day, you see a fish longer than your own body turning in the current. It doesn't see you at first, so you don't wait. You push forward, biting down and tearing away a strip of soft flesh. It jerks to the side, but you bite again, pulling back a chunk of its belly. Blood clouds the water around you, but you don't stop. You tear again, taking more until the fish slips away. You turn back to the group, but they're already gone. They're further downstream, chasing smaller fish and ignoring the blood cloud you've made. You watch them for a moment, but you decide not to follow. You know they can't keep up with you anymore. You're bigger and faster, and the small fish aren't enough for you now. And you don't trust them to stay close when something stronger moves in, so you stop moving with the group. You push forward alone, turning your head with every flicker that passes close. You don't wait for smaller shapes or weaker bodies. You hunt by yourself, taking what you can when you want it. And from that day onwards, you're alone. You're 1 year old now, stronger and heavier than before. This is when you stumble upon one of your only 2 predators, the Nile crocodile. The other is human, but they're not here today. You're swimming in the shallows, moving through the slow water when the surface stills. Then the crocodile lunges from the mud beneath you, with its long, sharp teeth snapping at your head. You twist quickly, turning just enough to slip out of its reach, but its teeth scrape along your side, tearing a thin cut into your skin. You don't swim away. You turn back and bite into the side of its mouth, sinking your teeth in and pulling away a strip of scale and flesh. The crocodile doesn't leave. It circles you slowly, head tilting and eyes locked on yours, as the blood drifts in thin lines behind it. You hold your place, turning to follow it, moving your body side to side to avoid getting bitten. It lunges again, but this time, you dart lower and catch its side, biting deeper and tearing away another strip of soft skin. The crocodile thrashes sideways, snapping its head at you, but you twist away, turning in the water and biting again. You feel its scales break under your teeth. It tries to pull away, but you hold on, pulling back until it shakes you loose. You watch it pause, body coiling for another strike. It lunges one last time, but you move sideways and bite into its back, tearing away a final piece of meat. It thrashes once, then turns and disappears into the mud, leaving trails of blood behind it. The cut along your side stays open, but you don't slow down. You keep moving, heading towards deeper water where the crocodile can't follow. A few months pass, and you spot a fisherman that stands alone on a small wooden boat. He doesn't see you below, moving with your head low and your eyes fixed on him. He's focused on his catch, gripping the line tight as he leans forward to pull it in. You watch for a moment just to decide if he's worth attacking, and then you strike. Your head breaks the surface in a straight line with your jaws wide, aiming at his head. You miss and bite down on his neck, slicing through skin and bone in one motion. He collapses instantly, falling into the river beside you. You don't stop. You bite again, locking your teeth into his leg and tearing away a piece of his thigh. The blood clouds the water around you and attracts other small predatory fish. So you swallow the piece quickly and prepare to take one last bite. But then, another boat drifts closer. It's a small log that has been hollowed inside with a boy standing on top of it. He sees you and grabs the man's body, pulling it up with his hands shaking as he drags it onto the deck. His eyes stay wide, fixed on you, with his mouth open, but no sound coming out. You rise up once more, your head breaking above the surface. The boy throws a wooden paddle at you, hitting the water just in front of your head. It sinks fast, but you don't strike again. You've fed enough. You turn away and slip back into deeper water before anyone else arrives here. The boy's eyes stay locked on you as you vanish. You don't look back. The current pulls you forward, and you keep moving, ready for the next thing that crosses your path. You're 5 years old now. You chase a large fish through the current, pushing it forward as it darts low and turns fast. You move in quickly, but the fish slips away just before you close on it. Your momentum carries you forward, and your head collides with the river bottom, smashing your teeth and tearing your mouth open. Blood spills as you drift backward, trying to close your mouth, but it's useless. You don't feel panic. You don't feel anything except the empty space where your teeth used to be. You hold your place in the water, blood still rising in long, thin clouds. Then something else appears. It's another fish, smaller but faster, swimming close to investigate the blood. It's a scavenger, testing if you're weak enough to eat. It turns toward you, but you don't move. You don't have teeth to fight it. You let it circle once, then it disappears, not willing to take the risk. You drift lower, turning in the current and waiting for what comes next. You don't feed for 5 days. Your mouth stays open, blood stops drifting, and the water around you stays quiet. Then your teeth start to regrow. Your species is known for this. In 3 to 5 days, every tooth is back, sharper and stronger, locked in place as if they were never broken. 5 days later, you return to the same spot. The same fish is there, hiding near the bottom of the river. You close the distance and snap your head forward, biting down hard and tearing it apart in quick, hard strikes. You swallow the last piece and turn away. The river stays quiet, but you know it never stays that way for long. You're 7 years old now. You move slowly through the river when you spot a man standing on the muddy bank. It's George Albert Bullinger, a British explorer and zoologist. He doesn't move. He just watches as you glide through the current, your muscles twitching under your skin. You rise higher in the water, your head breaking the surface. You don't understand what he is, but you think of how you could attack him, how you could lunge forward and tear away a piece of him like you would any other creature that comes too close. He doesn't back away. He doesn't run. He pulls a small leather notebook from his coat pocket and opens it, flipping to a blank page. His pencil moves quickly, capturing the line of your fins, the shape of your teeth, and the way your body cuts through the water. You hold your place, water dripping from your head as you watch him. He writes small notes along the edge of the page. Teeth large, jaw strong, predator of the Congo. His eyes stay fixed on you, sketching every line he sees. You watch him for a moment longer, then sink slowly back beneath the surface. You turn and push forward, leaving him and the bank behind. And that's how the Western world first found out about your kind. Skip forward a bit, and you're 10 years old now. It's summer, and the rainy season has swollen the river. It's the perfect time to mate. You move slowly at first, searching for a female. You see her shape ahead, gliding just beneath the surface. She doesn't turn right away, so you push forward, trying to close the distance. When she sees you, she turns away, and the chase begins. You follow her through the current, weaving left and right as she moves faster. She darts low, disappearing for a moment before turning back, trying to lose you in the water. You push harder, your tail flicking in long sweeps as you chase her down. She tries to pull away, twisting her body to one side, but you keep close, turning in every direction she goes. She pushes forward again, slipping just ahead, but you feel the gap closing with every move. Then the sky splits open. A single bolt of lightning hits the river in front of you. A shockwave slams through the current, and your muscles lock in place. Your head tilts back, your mouth stuck open, frozen in that final moment. You stop moving. You don't feel the water around you anymore. The female drifts away for a moment, but she doesn't leave. She circles back slowly, watching you with dark eyes. She moves closer and bites into the side of your body, tearing away a strip of flesh. She swallows it, then bites again, pulling at the soft parts beneath your skin. Blood drifts from your body and vanishes as the river carries it away. The female stays until she's had enough, then drifts away, leaving you behind in the slow water. You stay there, your body tilting gently with the current, and the river moves on without you. That was the Goliath tigerfish. Next is the Barreleye, a deep sea fish with a see-through head and barely working eyes. You hatch from an egg on the west coast of the United States. After your mother released thousands of eggs into the water column and your father sprayed them with his white liquid, you slide out of the egg with a long clear string attached to your stomach. It's part of the yolk sac that kept you alive while you were developing. It will dissolve soon, but for now it drifts behind you like a fishing line. Around you, thousands of your siblings break free from their eggs, but none of them stay nearby for long. The current pulls them apart, scattering them across the upper ocean. You're small enough to pass for debris, but your eyes are already working. You have two green tube-shaped orbs inside your head. You're meant to live deeper in the ocean, where the pressure is higher and predators move slower, but your body isn't ready for it yet. Your fins are too soft and your organs are still developing, so you float near the surface until you're strong enough to sink. You watch one of your siblings hover in place with its mouth open, catching plankton from the water. You try the same thing, and it works. Tiny particles drift in and vanish down your throat. You don't know what you're eating, only that it fills your gut. Then something flashes above you. The sibling you were copying gets pulled into a mouth and disappears. You stop moving and watch. But the fish turns and comes back for more. Instead of waiting, you tilt your body down and let yourself sink. The deeper water is colder, but it feels safer. The light above fades, and the water around you turns green, then dark. Your body starts to change. The clear bubble on your head begins to grow. The soft parts inside your skull get stronger. You're not fast, and you're not strong. But soon, you'll be able to look straight up through your own head and see anything coming before it sees you. Skip forward a bit, and you're a few weeks old now. Your body is stronger, and your fins have stiffened enough to steer. You've sunk deeper into the ocean, into the twilight zone, where there's not enough light for photosynthesis, but you can still see. You hold yourself steady in the middle of the water. It doesn't take much effort. Your body is full of jelly-like tissue that helps you stay in place without burning energy. You move just enough to stay upright. You haven't eaten in days, but that's normal. Barreleye fish have one of the slowest metabolisms in the ocean. You don't waste anything. You can survive for weeks between meals without becoming weaker or panicking. You try to hunt, but you miss. You swim toward a flickering blob in the distance, but it turns out to be nothing. Your eyes are still developing. The green tubes inside your skull haven't rotated yet. Your vision isn't ready to track anything properly. You bite at shadows, but your jaws don't catch anything. Then something big moves through the water beneath you. The water around your body shifts, and you stop completely, staying in place without even moving your fins. A dark shape rises from below and drifts past your side. You can't make out what it is, and you don't try to follow it. You stay frozen while it keeps moving upward, slowly fading into the dark water above. It doesn't turn or slow down. It just keeps going, like you weren't there at all. You wait a little longer before moving again, just to be sure it's gone. Then you start to adjust your body and drift forward. You stay in open water just floating through the cold. Most of the time you see nothing, but every so often something passes just far enough away to remind you the ocean isn't empty. And soon, you'll reach a layer where food moves more often. Not much, but enough to survive. You're a few months old now. Your body has changed shape again, and the top of your head is no longer cloudy. The dome is clear now, like glass, and the green tubes inside your skull are fully formed. You start to move your eyes, scanning upward through your own body. It takes practice, but eventually you can track movement above you without rising from your spot. You float quietly beneath a large, drifting shape. It's a siphonophore, a strange creature that looks like one animal, but is actually a whole group living together. When something gets too close to it, it immediately goes still, paralyzed by a sting. You don't move. You keep your distance and stay below. The siphonophore pulls the stunned fish upward, wrapping its tendrils around the body and slowly dragging it in. You've seen this happen before, but this time, you stay close and wait for your moment. As one of the lower tentacles dips closer to you, you begin to swim upward, moving carefully so the current doesn't give you away. The fish hanging from it is still alive, barely twitching. You come up underneath and open your jaws. One clean bite, and it's gone. You turn and sink back into the shadows before the colony reacts. But nothing happens. It doesn't chase you, and it doesn't seem to notice what you've taken. The fish was small, but it fills your gut in a way nothing else has before. This is how you'll feed from now on. Not by chasing or fighting, but by taking what's already been caught. But you're not the only one learning this trick. And next time, someone else is already waiting when you arrive. You're 1 year old now, and you've been tracking a jellyfish across the dark water. You're close enough to see the torn edge of the body folding inward. It won't survive much longer, so you keep your pace steady and prepare to bite. But then, something moves across your path. Another barreleye fish approaches from the other side. It's your size, and it's heading straight for the same jellyfish. You both stop a short distance away, hovering just outside reach. The space between you holds still, but your eyes stay on each other. You move first and lunge. The other fish moves at the same moment, and your heads collide in the middle. The hit isn't strong, but it's powerful enough to knock you off balance. The jellyfish uses that moment and escapes. You circle once, then follow him as he goes after the jellyfish. But you're not aiming for the jellyfish anymore. You're aiming for him. Your mouth snaps open as you push forward and clamp down near the base of his body. He tries to shake free, but you don't let go. You bite again, this time higher, near the base of his skull. The dome flexes under your teeth but doesn't break. He turns and opens his jaws slightly, but he's too slow. You bite the dome a second time, then a third, and the soft membrane begins to tear. The pressure releases suddenly, and a long trail of cloudy fluid leaks into the water. The tubes inside his skull lose their shape, and he goes still. You watch for a second, then turn away. The jellyfish is long gone, and you're not full. But now, anything that tries to take your food will have to fight for it. Skip forward and you're 3 years old now. Hunting has gotten easier. You know where to look, how to wait, and when to take. You've stopped reacting to every flicker in the water. Most things that glow aren't worth chasing, but tonight, something is different. There's a light ahead of you. It hangs in the dark, moving slightly as if it's caught on something. You swim to investigate. You've stolen food from jellyfish. You've fought and killed your own kind. If anything tries to stop you now, you'll tear through it. The closer you get, the more it looks like an easy meal. Then the light moves the wrong way, and just behind it, the shape of a jaw opens wide. It's an anglerfish. You turn as fast as you can, but you're too close. The anglerfish bites your back fin. You kick and twist, trying to break free, but the grip doesn't let go. Your head jerks forward as you struggle. The anglerfish keeps pulling. You try to swim down and to the side, but your fin is still locked in its teeth. Then something else starts moving in the distance. A shape glides toward you, long and flat with a wide open mouth. You kick harder, twisting your whole body to break free, but the anglerfish doesn't let go. Its teeth stay locked in your fin, pulling back every time you try to escape. The pressure builds until you feel something in your spine start to bend. You push and pull, but nothing works. The goblin shark keeps coming. Its mouth is already open. You can see the pink skin of its jaws stretched forward, ready to snap. It doesn't care what's in front of it. You're going to die next to the thing that caught you. You push again, harder than before. You don't have a plan. You just don't want to be eaten. And then, something tears. A sharp pain shoots through your back. The weight on your fin disappears. You don't stop to check what's missing. You just swim, straight down and away into the cold water below. Behind you, the goblin shark swallows the anglerfish whole and keeps going. You keep moving until the water goes quiet again. When you finally stop, your body shakes. Your fin is ripped, and your muscles feel weak. You don't know how close you were to dying. You only know it was closer than ever before. You're 5 years old now. You're deeper than you've ever been, holding your position just above a field of marine snow. You've been floating in place for nearly an hour, waiting for a siphonophore to drift past, but nothing has appeared yet. After a couple of hours, the water starts humming. It's quiet at first, just a low vibration against your body. But the sound gets louder, and the light follows. Something's moving toward you. You turn slightly and let yourself drift sideways. Whatever this thing is, it's following you. The light hits your dome and bounces back in flashes. You rotate your eyes to track it, but it doesn't behave like anything you've ever seen. It doesn't swim, it just watches. You tilt downward and let your body fall through the water column, but the thing keeps moving. You try again, this time floating behind a thick cloud of debris, but the machine holds steady. It keeps following you for a long time, but then it suddenly stops. It hangs in the dark, facing you. The lights blink once more, then the body turns slowly and swims away, disappearing into the dark like it came from nowhere. You stay where you are for a while just to make sure it's really gone. You don't know what it was, but someone else does. That was the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute's remotely operated vehicle, and in 2004, it became the first machine to ever capture clear footage of a living Barreleye fish. You were the first one they ever saw. A few months later, something changes in the water. There's no light, but you can feel a faint signal, a mix of chemicals and movement. It's familiar in a way you don't fully understand, but something in your body tells you to follow it. You swim slowly through the dark, letting the current carry you closer until a shape appears ahead. Another Barreleye fish. This one is female. She doesn't get too close or give any sign. She just holds her place beside you. You tilt your body to match her direction, and for a few quiet seconds, the two of you drift together. You release your white liquid into the water column, and she releases her eggs. Then she's gone. You don't follow. There's no parenting in your species. The only thing left behind is a chance. And now your genes are part of the ocean, drifting with the rest of the life that never meets again. A few days later, you see something falling through the water. It's small and pale, drifting straight down. Maybe it's food or maybe it's nothing, but either way, you follow it. You keep your body straight as you sink past your normal layer. The water gets colder and the pressure rises. There are no other fish down here, just a trench that drops deeper than anywhere you've been. You pass through a layer where the oxygen drops off. Below this point, almost nothing survives for long, but you don't stop. You keep descending, with your eyes locked on the shape ahead. Your body holds together and your organs stay in place. But your head isn't built for this. The pressure just keeps building. Then, without warning, your dome collapses. The clear fluid inside is forced inward and your eyes burst inside your skull. You stop moving. The shape you were following keeps falling without you. That's where your story ends, alone and too deep to matter. That was the Barreleye. Now meet the Catfish. Slow, slimy, and always swallowing something it shouldn't. You break from the egg in a shallow river and push into open water. You swim toward you, father. He's been guarding the eggs for days until they hatched. He looks at you and stares for a second, then turns around and swims away. He's off to live his own life, maybe even create more of you somewhere else. With him gone, there's nothing between you and the rest of the river, so you swim forward. Then broken shells drift in front of you, spinning in the current. You follow them out of curiosity, thinking they might lead to something alive. After a few minutes of following, something small swims past your face and you strike without thinking. You swallow it whole. It was a water flea, the first thing you've ever eaten. That taste makes you want more, so you push forward, watching the bottom for movement. You spot a long, thin shape moving between the stones, so you lunge and bite, but it bites back. Hooked jaws clamp into your side. It's a diving beetle larva, and it's not letting go. You shake hard, slamming into rocks and sticks to force it off, but it pulls you sideways. It's stronger than you expected. You kick harder, dragging it across the bottom, but its hooks only dig deeper. You slam into a stick, twist the other way, and feel it loosen, only for it to clamp down again near your tail. You roll over and scrape it against a rock until the grip tears free, taking a patch of your skin with it. It stings, and the open water suddenly feels dangerous, so you sink to the riverbed and slide under a log, where nothing big can rush you from behind. Above, small fish chase the drifting specks you were after. You stay in the dark, watching them move in and out of the weeds, knowing you'll have to pass through there yourself one day. And when you do, something will be waiting. Skip forward a bit, and you're 3 weeks old now. You're twice the size you were when you hatched. You still hide in the weeds, but recently you've started leaving them for longer. Each trip out brings you further from the safety of the shadows and closer to the fish that hunt in open water. Just under the surface, you spot a loose group of mosquito larvae hanging in place. You swim slowly, feeling for them with your barbells before you can see them. You strike and suck one in. Then you go for the second one, but just as you're about to eat it, a shadow glides in from your left. It's a juvenile largemouth bass. It charges. You drop straight down, then kick sideways, but it turns sharply and comes after you again. Its jaws snap shut where you were a moment ago, missing by the width of a fin. You twist upward, skimming along its side, but it swings around faster this time and clips your tail. You kick harder and drive forward, aiming your spiny dorsal fin straight at its head. The bass jerks back at the last second, avoiding the spine, then lunges again with even more speed. You turn toward the bank, knowing bigger fish can't twist as quickly in the shallow water, and the bass follows. You turn sideways to end the chase, but it stays on you, cutting you off from the deeper channel. Then a shadow sweeps across the water. A great blue heron drops from above, its beak spearing into the water. The bass is directly in its path, and in one sudden thrust, the beak punches through its side and lifts it clear of the river. You sink into the cloud of mud kicked up by the strike and stay there, waiting until the heron flies into the air again. This time you survived, but you'll have to be more careful when you hunt from now on. Skip forward and you're 6 months old now. You've grown into the deeper parts of the river, spending your mornings cruising along slow bends where food collects. Up ahead, the surface ripples over a patch of open water. Small fish swim in circles, moving in and out of the same spot. You think that it has to be food, so you slow down and angle in from the side, ready to snatch whatever they're chasing. You push into the middle and open your mouth. But instead of a fish, you bite into something soft and strange. Before you can spit it out, a sharp point digs into your jaw and pulls tight. The river tilts around you as you're yanked upward. You break the surface for the first time, kicking against open air, trying to break free. A huge shape looms over you. It's a human holding the line in one hand. He grabs your body and works the hook free, then holds you there for a moment, just staring. His hands close around you as he sets the fishing rod down on the bank. Then he leans in and kisses you on the top of your head. You don't know what it means, but feel like you just got molested. He looks at you for another second, then shrugs and lowers you gently back into the water. You sink confused about what just happened. The other fish are still feeding in the same place, and the thing you bit is still dangling there. You figure you must have grabbed the wrong part before, so you move in again. The moment you close your mouth, the hook drives in deeper, and you're hauled up for a second time. The same human takes you off the line, but this time he doesn't lower you back. He swings his arm and throws you as far as he can. You hit the surface flat, the impact knocking the strength out of you for a moment. You swim back towards the cover and leave the bend behind. You never hunt there again. You're 2 years old now. You drift in the middle of the river when you taste a sharp metallic flavor in the water. It's blood. You decide to swim downstream, following the scent as it spreads through the water. Every few body lengths, you pause, checking if you're going the right way before moving again. After a few minutes of swimming forward, you spot something moving in the shadows. A carp is wedged in the branches, with its scales torn away along one side. It's still alive, but barely. You swim closer, moving slowly so the carp doesn't notice. You open your mouth and bite. Your teeth catch the torn flesh, ripping a strip free. Warm blood fills your mouth. You swallow fast, then lunge for another piece before it can pull away. Then, the water erupts behind you. An otter rushes in with its eyes locked on the carp. You try to swim aside, but its body slams into yours and rolls you into the branches. It pushes past and snaps its jaws at the carp's head. You bite its tail to make it let go. It spins toward you and lunges for your face, forcing you to kick backward. You try to draw it into deeper water where you can turn faster and escape. It follows, but forces you toward the far bank instead. Then, you spot a dark gap under a half-rotten log. You dive in, thinking it might block the otter, but inside, something else moves. A snapping turtle shoots from the shadows, with its jaws closing where you were a second ago. You twist hard to avoid the bite, scraping your side along the log as you swim out the other end. The otter is still there, but now it's focused on the carp again. You keep low and slide along the bottom until the weeds cover you from sight. You don't come out until the otter disappears. A strip of carp meat still hangs from your jaw. You chew it slowly, knowing that bite almost cost you your life. Skip forward a bit and you're 3 years old now. Days of rain push the river over its banks and into the forest. You follow the current, tasting mud in the water. Worms, beetles, and drowned grasshoppers drift all around. You swallow everything that passes your mouth. Then 3 carp crash in from the side. They bump into you as they plow water through the flooded ground. Their tails whip the riverbed and knock more insects loose, so you stick close and eat whatever scraps they leave. The water feels shallow here, but there's so much food you ignore it. Then, a branch drifts sideways, and you notice the current is reversing. You turn and see the open water behind you is disappearing. The main flow is pulling back toward the river. Within minutes, your way out is gone. It's replaced by wet soil and plants. You're trapped in a puddle barely twice your body length. The air feels wrong, and you know the water could dry up fast. You have 2 options to choose from. First one being staying here and hoping the flood returns, or the second one jumping over the grass and back into the river. You decide to choose the second one. You swim toward the far side, looking for the closest point to the main channel. But it's too hard to judge the distance, so you test it. You slide behind one of the carp and angle low. Then you slam it full force with your head. It bursts upward, clearing the puddle, and lands in the grass, flopping nowhere near the river. That's a bad sign, but waiting is even worse. So you circle again, then burst forward into the air. Mid-flight, you twist sideways and slap the stranded carp with your tail. The hit jerks your body forward just enough to turn back toward the river. You land headfirst into deep water and dive. You're safe for now. Behind you, the puddle is shrinking fast. The other 2 carp are still trapped inside, and it looks like they won't make it. You're 4 years old now. You're in a quiet bend of the river chasing a small fish. It keeps swimming away but slows after every burst. You snap quickly while it stops and it's in your mouth. You drop to the bottom, pinning it with your fins so it can't wriggle free while you start eating. But then a shadow moves next to you. It's a snapping turtle. You recognize the shape. It's the one from 2 years ago. The same turtle who chased you away from that log. It hangs back just watching. That's how they test if you'll panic and drop the food. But you don't. So it rushes in and clamps onto the fish's head. You bite harder on the tail and pull the other way. The turtle yanks back, using its heavier body to drag you across the sand. You dig into the bottom with your fins, trying to use the riverbed as an anchor, but it's stronger, and every pull brings you closer to its mouth. You try to tear the fish in half, but the body holds together. The turtle shakes side to side, almost ripping it from your mouth. So you slam your head into its head to make it let go, but it barely reacts. And instead, it lunges straight for you. You kick backward, not watching where you're going, and slam into a dead branch wedged in the riverbed. The branch snaps upward, knocking a loose rock above it. The rock drops straight onto the turtle's shell, tipping it sideways and pinning it. It shoves and tries to move, but the weight of the rock doesn't let it. You circle once to make sure it can't move, then eat the fish right in front of it. When you're done, you swim off, leaving it stuck on the bottom. Skip forward, and you're 6 years old now. The winter has frozen the river solid. The only moving water left is a deep hole where fish gather to survive. You drop into it, joining carp, roach, perch, and other catfish. The cold slows everyone's movement. You all hover in place, sweeping the sand for any scraps. Above, the ice is thick, except for one round hole where light comes through. A shadow passes over it, followed by a faint vibration in the water. A long spear punches through, driving straight down into the group. A roach tries to dart away, but the point catches it. It's hauled up through the hole and gone. The spear drops again, this time missing you by the width of a fin. You jolt backward into another fish. It comes a third time, striking a carp and pulling it out. The group moves deeper, pressing together in the darkest part of the pool. You stay there until the shadows above are gone. A few days later, the snow melts, and a storm begins. You swim along the flooded bank in the middle of a heavy rainfall. The current shoves you sideways, carrying twigs, leaves, and whole branches downstream. You hug the bank to stay out of the fastest water, dragging through mud and roots for balance. Lightning flashes above, and in that brief light you see a carp shoot past, swimming against the flow. You start to follow, but a heavy branch slams into the water ahead, forcing you to veer away. The wind roars through the trees. Over the noise, you hear a long, deep creak. You stop and look up. A huge tree leans forward, its weight pulling rocks and soil down with it. You try to push into the current to escape, but the water is too strong. It shoves you back toward the collapse. The tree falls. Branches hit first, then the trunk crashes down, crushing your back and pinning you into the riverbed. The impact bursts your body in an instant, turning the water red with scales and flesh. That was the catfish. Next is the whalefish, a deep-sea mess that changes its body halfway through life. You hatch from an egg deep in the ocean and swim forward using your long tail that's almost 3 times your body size. At least that's how scientists believe you are born, because your species is rare and not well researched. Your first task is finding something to eat, because eventually your body will change into one of 2 things, with one of the options dying quickly, and the second option becoming a carnivorous predator. You drift for a while longer until something moves ahead of you. It's a thin cloud of tiny crustaceans. You follow from behind, tracking as they swim through the water. When you get close enough, you lunge but miss. So you try again, snapping forward, but forget to open your mouth and bump into them. You circle back and try again. This time, you catch one and swallow it, then another. Your stomach starts to stretch as each one slides inside. After a few more lunges, the crustaceans scatter completely and you drift in place, letting your gut settle. Then, another larva appears ahead. It's the same shape and size as you. You stop moving, and it does as well. You both hold still, just watching. Its fins tilt slightly as it stays balanced in the water. For a few moments, nothing changes. Then it turns and slips downwards into the dark, so you keep swimming. You chase more crustaceans, catching some and missing others. Hours pass, then days. Your stomach grows more flexible and your tail pushes harder with less effort. Then one day you notice something different. When you swim, there's less drag behind you. You turn and look back. Your tail is shorter than it was. It didn't break. It's just smaller now. Skip forward and you're 3 weeks old now. At this stage of life, there are only 2 things you're built to do. Eat as much as possible and avoid being eaten. Most of the larvae around you have stopped doing either. One floats past with its jaw sealed shut and tail that's too stiff to steer. It drifts sideways without resisting the current. Behind it, 2 more show the same signs. They are alive but barely moving. You're not like them. Your gut still stretches to hold each meal, and your tail still kicks with force. Something inside you is changing, but not in the way that ends. Then a shadow cuts across the water above you. It moves fast. It's long and silver, maybe a juvenile ribbonfish, so you dive before it even has a chance to get close. Behind you, one of the drifting larvae doesn't move, but you don't look back. You don't care if he gets eaten. As the water calms again, you settle near the edge of the plankton layer and wait. A shrimp zips across your path, and you lunge, but it jerks away at the last second. You turn, push again, and close the gap. Right before you reach it, another larva rises beside you. Its jaw doesn't open, and it tips sideways, bumping the shrimp off course. You pause for just a moment, then surge upward and catch it anyway. Your gut folds around the meat, and the food stays down. But larvae like you don't stay in these layers for long. The deeper zones are waiting, and soon, you'll be the only one left that can survive down there. You're 6 weeks old now, and your body has changed again. Your skin has turned red, and your jaw is stronger than before. You're no longer a drifting larva. You're almost a fully formed female, heavier and faster than you were before. You're built to live deeper, so you sink through the water and move into a dense field of marine snow. Everything here is falling: broken shells, mucus strings, scraps of meat, and things too small to name. You strike at a soft piece of tissue drifting beside you and swallow it before checking what it was. It dissolves instantly inside your gut. The next piece feels tougher, but it's just waste. You catch it anyway and keep going. After a few minutes, a shape that looks like food appears ahead. It moves just enough to draw your attention, so you push forward and try to catch it. But as your jaw closes, you realize it's just a chunk of skin. It breaks apart in your mouth, and you let it drift out again. You move slightly higher in the cloud, and that's when the wall of mucus collapses. It lands across your face and sticks to your jaw. You shake your head trying to clear it, and end up in a haze where almost nothing is visible. Then something flashes ahead, a quick blue pulse, followed by another. You swim forward through the debris and spot the source. It looks like a small animal that has been injured. You lunge with your mouth open and bite down on the light. There's soft resistance, but it doesn't tear. The glow is connected to something else. From the haze, the shape swims forward. It's a juvenile anglerfish, and it's not much bigger than you. Its jaw opens slightly, just enough to show you it's ready. Neither of you moves. Then you strike again, this time biting clean through the lure that's still attached to its face. It recoils fast, twisting in place and jerking its body sideways. You follow and catch the edge of its tail, tearing a piece as it kicks away and vanishes into the dark. You stay still, alone in the falling snow. You didn't get much to eat, but something tried to scare you and it left first. Skip forward a bit, and you're 3 months old now. The upper layers of the ocean are no longer enough, so you drop lower, past the twilight zone, and into the bathypelagic zone. There's no sunlight here, and the difference between up and down feels almost imaginary. You follow something faint ahead, a flicker that pulses once, then disappears. You swim faster, chasing the shape as it curves below you, but it slips away like it was never there. You twist hard to follow, but your body lags behind, and the current takes the shape out of reach. As you adjust to the stillness, a jellyfish drifts into view. Its body pulses with a faint, soft red glow. You strike without thinking, and the impact makes it fold. You recoil and wait, watching as its body collapses into pieces. Whatever it was made of isn't worth eating. Farther off, another shape appears. It moves slowly, but it's too distant to reach, so you follow it for a while. It drifts, then snaps at something small. You don't see the kill, but you find what's left. A soft meat fragment, loose tissue, and slime that tastes like nothing. You eat what you can and keep your distance until it fades into the dark. Then a small group of bristlemouths hovers just above. You swim up carefully, timing your approach. But one sees you. In an instant, they all flash white and vanish before you could eat any. You stay still for a few seconds, then let yourself sink again. The food down here disappears too quickly, and you're not fast enough to catch most of it. For now, scraps are enough to keep you alive, but not for long, because if you want to stay in this layer, you'll need to stop waiting for leftovers and kill something big. You're 4 months old now, and your body has finished growing. Your stomach stretches with no resistance, and your movements have gotten much more sharper. As you drift through the water, you leave behind a faint chemical trail. You can't really control it. It's just something that your body does now. At first, you don't notice anything different, but after a couple of hours swimming looking for food, the water ahead starts looking suspicious. Something is approaching. A small shape drifts toward you. It's not that fast. You freeze and hold your position in case it's dangerous. It's not shaped like prey, and it doesn't try to get away. It circles once around you, close enough to attack at any moment, but it never makes contact. Then, it suddenly stops moving. Without any sound or warning, it releases a cloud of white liquid into the water and begins to sink. You stay still, just watching. That was a male. A few months ago, he was a larva just like you. But his body followed a different path. His stomach collapsed, his jaw fused shut, and his digestive system disappeared. The only thing that grew was his liver, storing every ounce of energy he had left. Once his body finished changing, his nose allowed him to detect your trail across layers of water that you haven't even reached yet. That's how he found you. Males don't feed and don't fight. They live just long enough to find a female. And once they release what they came for, their bodies start to collapse. His fins start to stretch as he sinks lower, and within 2 days, he'll be gone. You release your eggs into the cloud and turn away. You don't wait to see what happens. There's nothing else here for you. Skip forward, and you're 6 months old now. You've just found your biggest meal yet. A large dead fish is drifting through the water with skin half torn and guts leaking out behind it. You swim alongside and bite into the softest part. You keep going, pushing more meat into your stomach than it was ever meant to hold. After a few minutes, you stop moving. Your body feels swollen and tight. You hover in place, trying not to tear anything. But something else noticed the blood too. A snake-toothed fish drops down from above. Its body is long and covered in scars. It doesn't look confused. It knows you're here. You stay still, hoping it loses interest, but it circles once, then shifts its angle and rushes forward. But right before it hits you, a giant isopod crawls out from underneath the carcass. The snake-toothed fish turns mid-strike and grabs the isopod instead. You watch, thinking how stupid it is, so you try something. You turn away slowly, pretending to leave. Then swing back around and open your mouth as wide as it goes, trying to swallow the whole thing in one strike. But it doesn't work. The fish is too big. It turns on you instantly and clamps its jaw onto the top part of your body. You try to move, but nothing happens. The pressure locks your spine in place. You feel its jaw loosening, not to let go, but to move its grip toward your head. And that's when you snap. Your body recoils like a spring and bursts backward in one full-body kick. You vanish into the dark before it can adjust. It doesn't chase you. It just turns back to the isopod and keeps eating. You drift away, pulsing slower, feeling your body recover. That wasn't a win, but it wasn't a death either. You're 7 months old now, and you've spent the past few weeks hovering at the edge of the bathypelagic zone. This layer used to feel endless, but something's changed. The prey here has thinned out. Every chase ends in nothing, and the scraps that used to keep you alive are starting to vanish. You're getting hungry in a way that doesn't stop when you rest. One day you notice something, faint trails moving upward. You follow, swimming toward the warmth for the first time in weeks. The water flows easier here. Your muscles push without as much resistance. You don't recognize this layer. As you swim around, you find a piece of shrimp missing its legs, so you take it. Then, a loose eye drifting by itself. You take that too. You eat everything you can, then suddenly stop. The pressure around you is starting to feel wrong, so you turn back and push downward before anything stretches or tears. As you return to the colder layer, your body settles. But something's different now. For weeks, you believed the surface only meant death. Now, you've felt what it can offer. You're 1 year old now. You've survived longer than most, adapted to layers few others reach. But today, you make a mistake. You follow something upward. It looks like a floating scrap twitching just enough to look alive. You swim after it without checking how far you've climbed. The pressure begins to drop and your body swells slightly, just enough to throw your balance. You try to descend, but your body isn't responding. The depth you need is gone, and your stomach starts pressing outward. You drift upward, with red skin exposed to light that should never touch it. At the surface, a research vessel is collecting plankton samples. Nets drag across the water. You float sideways into view, and a bucket scoops you out. You twitch once in the air, then drop into a small chilled container. A tech stares down, unsure what they've caught. You're handed multiple times, first to a biologist, then to a researcher at a private lab. You're still alive, but barely. The water is cold enough to let you survive now, but after a few hours, you stop moving completely. That was the whalefish. Now it's the flying fish. It escapes by jumping, but everything still wants to eat it. You tear free from the egg, somewhere in one of those 3 oceans. You push into the open water and spot hundreds of unhatched eggs drifting all around you. You need food, so you turn toward the nearest one, open your mouth, and bite straight through the soft membrane. Inside is a sibling that hasn't started moving yet. You suck out what's left and head for another. One by one, you eat your way through the cluster, swallowing all the yolk and flesh that fits in your mouth. Across from you, another hatchling is doing the same. He's faster and already clearing a space of his own. So you decide to do something. You turn toward him to take over, but he notices. He kicks up and bolts for the surface, so you chase after him. He breaks through the water first, gliding low across the air. His fins stretch wide like wings as he skips over the waves. You follow a second later, rising clean into the air. It's your first glide, and you hold it longer than you expected. Then a shadow erupts from the deep. A tuna jumps out of the water with its jaws wide open and swallows him in one clean motion before crashing back into the ocean. You cut the glide short and drop down into the water. You don't want to be next, so you dive deep until the light above you fades. You wait there for a while, but nothing moves. After a couple of minutes, when you decide to rise again, you spot that the eggs are gone. You're already burning through the food you ate earlier, and there's nothing here to replace it. So you turn and swim, and now you're on your own. Skip forward a bit, and you're 3 weeks old now. You haven't seen another flying fish since the tuna incident. You drift in the open layer, snapping at copepods and whatever else floats by, but there's not much food here. Then one morning, the light below you changes. Hundreds of ripples cut through the water. Dozens of juvenile fish swim by in perfect synchronization. Mostly half-beaks, but a few look like you. You dive and slip into formation at the edge of the group. No one chases you off, so you stay and copy their movements. You turn when they turn, and dive when they dive. You bump the others a few times, but they don't react. They're focused ahead, moving as one. You stay in the middle, not because it's safer, but because it's easier to keep pace there. Then the school splits apart. A lancetfish shoots up from below, and the group breaks in every direction. Some fish go up, some veer off to the sides, but you stick close to a tight cluster and follow them straight down. One flying fish near the edge tries to escape a different way. It kicks up hard and launches into the air, hoping to glide to safety. But it doesn't get far. A bird dives from above and snatches it mid-air before it can turn. You stay low and keep your place in the cluster. The water stays quiet behind you, and the predator doesn't follow. For now, you're safe. A few minutes later, the group slows down and rises together. You follow them up toward the surface. There are fewer fish now, but they swim closer together, and no one moves away when you pass. Skip forward again, and you're 2 months old now. You're still swimming with the same school, gliding through the surface layer in a wide formation. You're not the fastest in the group, but you've learned how to stay in the middle and let the others block the current for you. Then something catches your eye. Off to the side, a large jellyfish floats near the surface. It's tilted sideways and barely moving. The others pass it without looking, but you slow down and drift toward it. If it's dead, it might be food. You bite one of the trailing edges. It's soft and doesn't react, so you bite deeper. That's when the tentacle snaps forward. It coils for less than a second, but the sting runs straight across your side. You back away fast, but it's too late. The venom locks your muscles and slows your swimming. You try to catch up to your group, but you're not fast enough anymore. The school pulls farther ahead with every turn. You flick your tail to signal, but no one slows down. You're not worth waiting for. You trail behind for a while, but whenever you get close, they scatter and reform without you. You're not part of them anymore. They won't risk being seen with something that moves too slow, because it would make them a target. You're alone again, drifting under a floating leaf. The burn on your side fades slowly, but you still swim crooked. The jellyfish is gone, and so is the school. You thought you were being smart, breaking off to get an easy meal. But out here, smart doesn't help if you're wrong. You're 11 weeks old now. You haven't seen another fish in days. You swim alone, moving slowly and staying close to any drifting debris you can find. The light feels brighter out here, and every shape that breaks the surface could be a threat. You spot a shrimp hanging just below the waterline. You speed up, bite through the tail, and lunge upward with the momentum. It's not a high jump, but it makes noise, and that's all it takes. A young seagull tilts in from above. You see the white flash of feathers as it circles wide. You dive, but not deep enough, and it follows your path. It doesn't dive yet. It's watching how you move. You glide again a few minutes later to test if the seagull is still watching, and it shifts its flight to match yours. You cut the glide short and swim under a floating branch, hoping it will lose track of you. But it circles once, lands for a moment, and waits. As soon as you move again, it lifts off and begins circling overhead. It's not striking yet. It's waiting for the perfect moment. It wants to catch you in the air. So you give it what it's waiting for. You kick upward and glide out of the water with your fins wide. The seagull locks onto you and starts to close in from above. But before it can reach you, you kick again and shoot straight up. Your body slams into its chest, knocking it off balance. The seagull flails in the air and falls backward into the sea. You hit the surface a second later and dive deep. When you circle back, the seagull is still floating there, paddling with its wings. But it's young, and its feathers aren't entirely waterproof, so it sinks a little more with every movement. You watch for a few seconds, then turn and swim away. It's not food, and you don't want to be here when something else comes looking. Skip forward, and you're 6 months old now. You're swimming past the edge of a reef slope when you see her. It's another flying fish gliding just above the surface. She lands near a thick bloom of plankton, and instead of bolting when she sees you, she stays. You move in beside her and start feeding. She strikes from above while you come in from below, and together you clear through more food than you've had in days. You match each other's pace without trying. She startles a shrimp straight into your path, and you loop back later to push a cloud of copepods toward her. That night, you shelter under a drifting log, close enough to see each other's outlines in the dark. She doesn't leave, and you don't want her to. But something changes the next morning. She starts nudging you off course. When a school of anchovy passes, she slices through the middle before you can react and drives them away from your reach. Later, you spot a soft-bodied larva drifting just ahead and move in to bite, but she cuts you off and takes it first. You turn around and spot a juvenile squid floating near the surface, so you line up your strike, but she slams into your side mid-turn and takes it right out from under you. You eat less that day, and less the next. She's not attacking you, but she's not helping anymore, so you stop chasing food and start watching her. You drift behind her at a distance, thinking whether it's worth chasing her off, or if it would be easier to let her push too far and take what's left after. But by the end of the third night, she slows down. Then, during a dive, she rolls slightly to one side and stalls. That's when you see the pale thread trailing from behind her. She's spawning eggs. One slow contraction at a time, she releases a cloud of eggs into the water. They hover briefly, then fade into the current. You move closer and think about killing her. She's weak enough now that it would be easy. But before you do anything, her body slips sideways and starts to sink. She folds once and drops out of sight. You wait a moment, then turn away and rise. Sometimes you don't have to kill. You just have to last longer. Skip forward again and you're 9 months old now. You're faster and stronger than you used to be. So when you spot a new school of flying fish, you don't wait long. You move in from the side and slide into the group. No one drives you off, so you stay. You swim with them through a thick zone of plankton and larvae. It's the first time in weeks you've eaten without a fight. For a moment, it almost feels safe again. Then the water pulses. You hear clicks around you, then feel the pressure shift again. It's dolphins. They're already close. Just 3 dolphins sweeping in from the sides and below. The school scatters on instinct. Some shoot upward, while others dive. But you try to veer left and a dolphin blocks your path, pushing you back toward the center with 3 others. The first strike comes without warning. One dolphin lashes its tail and folds the fish around the impact so hard the body bursts open mid-water. The second grabs another by the tail and whips it upward. Before it even starts falling, another dolphin rises and slams it sideways with its mouth. You turn hard and dive, hoping they're distracted, but one of them is already below you. It lifts you by the ribs and throws you into the air. You twist and hit the surface on your side, but another strike sends you tumbling again. They're not chasing to feed, they're just playing for fun. You try to pull away, but before you can, the dolphins grab the last fish beside you. One clamps its head, the other takes the tail, and together they pull until the body splits. You drift back and see both halves drop like nothing. You're the only one left now. One dolphin circles back and clips your side with a glancing hit. It's enough to lock your tail for a second, but you force it to move. You shove everything into one kick and break the surface, gliding low and trying to escape. Behind you, the dolphins keep chasing, but after a couple of seconds, they suddenly slow down. A pufferfish floats just beneath them, already puffed up. One dolphin nudges it with its mouth, and another takes a bite and twitches. They stop following you. They want to get high instead. They drift back, rolling and circling the pufferfish, and leave you behind without a second glance. You crash into the water far ahead and sink low. You survived, but barely. There's no school left to join. You're alone again and running out of time. If you want to make it, you'll have to take a risk. Something bigger than anything you've tried before. You're 11 months old now and you haven't eaten in 2 days. You've tried chasing schools, but they scatter before you get close. And every time you follow a trail, it ends in nothing. Then one night you see something strange ahead. A bright glow that doesn't flicker like plankton and doesn't drift like moonlight. It's steady and too bright to be natural. You move toward it slowly. A few other fish are already circling the area, dipping close and rising again. One dives low, bites something near the base, and vanishes upward without a trace. You hold back for a moment, but the glow stays fixed, and the smell in the water feels like food. It doesn't move, so you swim closer out of curiosity. You circle once, checking for threats, but nothing changes, so you surge forward and snap at a small glint just below the light. The hook punches through your mouth before you even register the pain, and a second later, a line pulls tight and jerks you upward. You twist and kick, but the pressure changes too fast and the pull doesn't stop. You rise through the water with your head forced back and your tail flailing behind. Then, you break the surface. A hand grabs you and pulls the hook free. You flop once, against something hard and wet, trying to breathe but you're suffocating. Two men lean over you. One lifts you by the tail and the other raises a phone. The flash goes off. Then you're dropped on a board, still alive but already fading. You came for food and followed the light, and now you're just a photo. That was the flying fish. Next is the ghost shark, a slow swimmer with soft bones and worse luck. You tear free from the leathery egg case after a full year on the seabed. You drift upward and steady yourself with your wide fins. Then you start to swim forward. You need food right away. Your snout pores pick up a faint signal in the sand. You swim closer and strike. A worm wriggles in your mouth. You crush it against your tooth plates and swallow. It's your first meal, but it's far too small for you. Another signal flickers nearby. You lunge again and bite down on a shrimp. Its shell cracks, and you swallow what's left. You're still hungry, so you keep going. You catch another signal and strike, but this time you miss. Sand puffs upward, and the signal vanishes. You circle and try again, but there's nothing left here. You feel a new pulse ahead. You swim faster and probe the bottom with your snout. Another worm jerks away, and you snap it up before it disappears. 3 meals now, but still not enough. Then a shadow glides above. You tilt your head and see jaws opening, lined with sharp teeth. It's a grenadier fish. Hatchlings like you are easy targets, and it knows it. You dive straight down and hide in the sand. The grenadier swoops over, swimming right above your head. You hold still and don't move a muscle. Then it comes back again, lower this time. It stops and hovers with its jaws open. Sand moves around you as its tail beats the bottom, but you stay frozen. It dips closer, with its mouth pressing at the surface. Then, suddenly, it swims away and disappears into the dark. You wait until the signals fade completely. Only then do you push out of the sand and swim low to the bottom. Ahead, you spot a rock under which you can hide, so you slip beneath it and press yourself against the mud. You've escaped, but you're still hungry, and soon you'll need to risk hunting again. Skip forward a bit. You're 3 months old now. The worms kept you alive in the nursery ground, but they're too small for you now. Your instinct drives you to leave the shallows and head into deeper water. You swim down the slope as the seabed falls away. The light fades and the water grows colder. Your snout pores pick up stronger pulses here. Larger animals live below, and that means larger prey. Ahead, you see a strange shape. A tripod fish stands on 3 fins that dig into the sand. It doesn't move, but you can feel a faint signal inside its body. You dart forward and snap your jaws at it, but the fish lifts off the bottom at the last moment. You bite the water as it drifts back and then lowers itself again. You hover above the sand, waiting. The tripod fish twitches its fins and moves slightly, but you don't move. A few seconds pass and it rises off the bottom, then lowers itself again. You wait longer this time, keeping still until its body relaxes. Then you surge forward. Your plates clamp down hard, crushing its body. The fish twitches once, but its fins fold tight and it goes limp. You swallow it whole. That one bite is more food than a dozen of worms. So you decide to find more of them. A few meters away, another one is balanced on its fins. You angle towards it and hover a few body lengths away. It flicks its fins, testing the sand. You stay still. Only when it finally presses down and stops moving do you attack. You lunge with your jaws snapping shut. The crunch echoes through your plates, and you tear it apart in chunks. You gulp down each piece until nothing is left. Your stomach swells with food. Now you know how to take it. Not by rushing, but by waiting. You're 6 months old now. You drift above a bed of clams scattered across the sand. Clams give more meat than worms, so you've started breaking shells whenever you find them. You press your head down and crush one against the bottom. The shell splinters apart, and you swallow the flesh inside. It's slower than chasing live prey, but it keeps you full. Then a shadow bumps your side. Another juvenile ghost shark slides in beside you, shoving you off the clam. Food is scarce here, and every one of you is hungry. You snap at it, trying to warn it back, but it only circles wider, waiting to strike again. Then a second ghost shark arrives. Now there are 2, and they know how to work together. One rushes at your snout, while the other floats above to block your escape upward. If they drive you off, they'll split the clams between them, so you turn tight to face both at once. When one lunges, you ram it sideways, but the other clips your tail. Every time you fight one, the other pushes you farther from the clam bed. You can't hold the ground alone for long. Then you spot movement above. A gulper eel drifts down with its mouth open. It hunts by swallowing whole prey, and right now it's hunting you. You let your fins droop and slow down. You want it to think you're weak. The eel swims towards you, keeping its mouth wide. Then at the last moment, you surge downward, slipping past the other 2 juveniles. They don't expect you to run. The gulper eel doesn't stop. It lunges and closes its mouth around both sharks at once. The pair vanish into its throat in a single strike. The eel seals its jaws and drifts off into the dark. You drop back down and crush another shell. It took effort, but the food is yours again. You're 1 year old now. You swim along the slope, searching for prey when the water changes. A current grabs your body and pulls hard to the side. You kick against it, but your fins barely help. The flow drags you down into a trench that drops deeper than you've gone before. When the current finally slows down, you reach the bottom. The sand is bare here. No clams to crush, and no worms wriggling around. Just rows of spiky black shapes stuck to the bottom. You drift closer, hoping for movement, but the shapes don't move or swim. Sharp spines cover them, pointing outward like spears. You've never seen them before. They look too dangerous to touch, so you turn away. You search the trench for something else. Hours pass, then days. You chase flickers in the dark, but every strike comes up empty. No prey lives here. Your gut hollows out, and your muscles lose their strength. Every flick of your tail feels weaker than the last. You circle the trench walls again, but the only things here are those spiny shapes, so you decide to try them out of desperation. You hover in front of one, jabbing at it with your snout, but the spines stay stiff, not moving at all, so you lunge. Your plates crunch down and the shell bursts with a sharp pop. Soft flesh spills out. You swallow it and taste something rich. It's heavier than worms and more filling than clams. You strike again, smashing another. Each crack echoes through the trench as you tear them apart. Your gut swells, and your strength returns with every bite. What looked like danger turns out to be one of the best meals you've ever had. Sea urchins are everywhere here, and now you know how to eat them. In this barren trench, you found food that never runs out. Skip forward and you're 3 years old now. Years of hunting have made you stronger. You no longer stick to trenches. Now you patrol open slopes where prey is bigger and faster. A sudden electrical pulse crosses your snout pores. You tilt down and chase. Ahead, a squid drifts just above the sand. You lunge and clamp your plates over it. The body folds in your jaws as blood and ink flood the water. But while you're feeding, the water changes. A heavy pulse shakes the sand beneath you. It's too strong to be prey. You freeze for a second, then whip your head around. From the dark comes a blunt-nosed, six-gill shark. It surges forward with its mouth wide open, ready to eat you. You swim upward as the shark barrels into the ink cloud. Its jaws snap shut and catch your tail. Pain explodes down your body as the flesh tears off. You spin and clamp your jaws into its snout. The shark jerks, and blood spills from the bite. You kick hard trying to outpace it, but the shark doesn't stop. Its shadow grows larger with every second. You dive low toward the seabed, and the shark swims just behind you. You skim over stones, scraping your side and turn tighter than the predator. Its jaws snap at empty water. A narrow gap opens in the rock wall. You squeeze through while the shark slams against the opening, unable to fit. You swim as far as you can with your heart pounding like it's about to explode. Behind you, the shark circles a few times, then fades back into the dark. You've survived, but your tail fin is shredded. It will never grow back the same, and every hunt from now on will be harder. You're 5 years old now. You're strong enough to hunt anything your size, but instinct drives you to find a mate. A female ghost shark swims ahead along the slope. You move closer, circling once to see what she does. She doesn't run, so you swim up closer. You grip her side with your claspers and try to hold, but she twists, testing your grip. So you line your body with hers, preparing for what's about to come, when the water moves fast behind you. A larger male rushes in. He slams into your side and knocks you off her body. You roll across the sand. By the time you stop, he has already taken your place. His claspers hook in, his tail locks over hers, and they start to mate. You can't let it go. You circle them and snap at his side. Your jaws tear into his skin and blood leaks out. He whips his tail and smacks your head, knocking you back. You rush again, this time low. Then you slam into his stomach. He jerks upward, but still hangs on to her. He curls and smashes you down with his body weight. The hit drives you into the seabed as sand bursts up all around. He presses you down. His teeth scrape your skin, but don't let go. You kick hard and break free, then you shoot upward, ready to bite his head off. But before you can strike, the female moves. She rams her snout into your ribs. The blow spins you sideways. You freeze and realize she's helping him. Anger burns through you. You coil and smash into her, slamming her into the sand. Then you let go and swim off. The larger male comes again, but you dodge and swim into the open water. The female follows him, both snapping at your fins. You pull ahead and they stop after a while. The female is gone, and so is your chance to mate. What's even worse is that now you've made enemies of both of them. You're 10 years old now. You're swimming around just relaxing when you smell something rotting. You start swimming there instantly. You spot a dead tuna lying half buried on the seabed with its skin peeling and flesh exposed. A grenadier swims up and starts ripping strips from its sides. Then Brautillas come next, attacking the lifeless body. You decide to go in too and steal some of the food. The grenadiers scatter instantly after seeing you. You snap one in half on the way and spit the pieces aside. Then the two Brautillas turn around and swim away too. The carcass is yours. You rip a piece free and swallow. Your plates slowly crunch through meat, but then you spot something. A shadow slides in from the edge. It's another ghost shark. You remember him. He's the male from 5 years ago that stole your female. He swims above you slowly, just watching. But you don't lunge. You let him come closer because you're plotting something. He swims up low and takes a bite from the carcass. But you stay still. He tears another strip, then another. His belly swells as he keeps feeding, and after a while his movements slow down. His gut bulges until he can hardly swim. You know the moment. You turn away from the carcass and search for something along the seabed. Then you find it, a sea urchin, but instead of eating it, you grip it in your mouth, then carry it back towards the carcass. When you get close enough, you slam the urchin hard into the other shark's swollen belly. The spines drive inward and his stomach explodes. Blood and half-digested flesh spill into the water. You let the urchin drift away and circle back to the carcass. The rival is dead, and you finally got your payback. Skip forward and you're 13 years old now. The seabed is covered in sand and broken shells. There's no food in sight. Then you see a small shape half buried ahead. It looks weak, maybe a fish hiding. So you move closer with your snout pores catching a faint pulse of life. You strike fast and clamp your jaws down. But the body doesn't fold like prey. The sand bursts upward. It's a deep-sea stingray. You shake, rolling side to side, but the barb holds for a second before tearing free. Venom floods your body and your muscles cramp tight. Then, your fins start locking straight. The stingray glides off and vanishes into the dark. You try to swim after it, but nothing answers. Your body stiffens more with each second. The poison shuts you down. It's the same way the legend Steve Irwin died, but you're not a legend. You're just another dead ghost shark. That was the ghost shark. Finally, the sarcastic fringehead, small, angry, and fighting over holes in the sand. You hatch from an egg somewhere off the coast of North America. Dozens of siblings break free around you, each one pushing upward through the dark. For your kind, the first task is always the same. You have to find squid eggs, but as soon as you try to swim further, two siblings break away from the group and lock onto you. They don't spread out to hunt on their own. They're waiting for you to make the first move so they can steal whatever you find. For minutes, they trail behind you, copying every turn. When you swim upward, they swim with you. When you dive, they follow. The water is filled with drifting shapes, but you know most of them are useless. Then, you spot something pale ahead. It looks like an egg mass drifting loose, so you rush forward and snap it down in a single gulp. The first sibling rams into your side, desperate to shake the food free, but it's already gone, and all it manages is knocking you sideways. The second sibling stays locked on. It dives at your tail every time you kick harder, biting and snapping but never letting go. You dive toward the seafloor to lose it, but it follows. You twist upward again and rush back toward the surface, and it's still there. Every move you make, it copies. You lunge toward another drifting shape, but it slams into your side and blocks you. This fight isn't about food anymore, it's about survival. So you stop fleeing, you turn in the water and rush straight at it. Both of you slam together, rolling in tight spirals as you bite and twist. You clamp down across its side and shake with all your strength, trying to tear into the flesh. Then a shadow sweeps over you. A larger fish glides just above with its mouth open, ready to swallow anything that moves. That's all it takes. Your sibling rips free and bolts into the distance, leaving you alone in the water. You don't chase. You're still starving, and you still need more food if you're going to survive the night. Skip forward and you're 3 months old now. You drift down from the open water toward the seafloor for the first time. Rocks and shells cover the bottom, and you swim low while scanning every crack for shelter, because your species picks a good spot and lives in it for the majority of their lives. Ahead you spot a narrow crevice in the reef, and you rush forward to squeeze inside. But another young sarcastic fringehead bursts from the opening trying to defend its territory. It slams into your head and forces you backward. You open your own jaws and push forward with all your strength. Both of you snap and shove, twisting side to side as each of you tries to force the other out of position. For fringeheads, these fights aren't about killing. They're about holding ground. Whoever keeps the den gets a chance to survive, and whoever loses has to hunt in the open where almost everything bigger can swallow you whole. The other locks onto your side with its teeth and shakes hard. You kick free and ram it against the rock with your whole body. It scrapes along the stone but manages to slip free. You flare your jaws wide, showing the full span of your weapon, usually enough to decide a fight. It stops and hovers for a second, and then backs away. To push further would mean risking its life, so it turns and swims off. This is your first real win. You slide into the gap between the stones and wedge yourself inside. But the ocean never stays quiet for long. A fight like that shakes the water and draws in predators that know something smaller might now be vulnerable. A cuttlefish glides across the rocks with its arms reaching into your shelter. Each arm brushes along your body, probing for a grip. Cuttlefish hunt with stealth. They drift close under camouflage, then strike with sudden bursts, dragging prey into their arms before it can react. You lunge forward with your jaws wide and clamp down as hard as you can. The arms thrash so violently that the entire crevice shakes. It yanks free and jumps backward, vanishing into deeper water. You press further inside your new den and wait until the reef settles. Only now do you understand why your kind fights so hard for these cracks. Out in the open, you wouldn't have lasted an hour. Inside a shelter, you get to live another night. You're 1 year old now. You leave your home and swim further along the reef than ever before. You need more food, and the tiny scraps near your old shelter aren't enough anymore. While swimming, you spot tiny movements on the seafloor, so you approach closer to investigate. A small crab digs out from the ground with its claws held high. It's slow, but dangerous, able to cut straight through your fins if you give it the chance. You're desperate for food, so you rush forward anyway. You snap down on its shell with your jaws, and it starts scraping at your face, but you shake hard until the shell cracks open. Once the first break forms, the crab can't protect itself. You clamp tighter and drag it across the sand toward your crevice, but then the water behind you explodes. A long shape slides out of the reef and follows with its head swaying side to side. It's a moray eel. It doesn't attack straight away. It glides just behind you with its teeth showing, waiting for you to slip up. Eels eat fish like you whole. dragging them into their burrows to swallow alive. You drop the crab and flare your jaws wide, hovering in the water while trying to protect your meal. The eel circles you with its body weaving above you. It lunges once, and its teeth scrape past your jaw, so you shove forward and snap back. The eel jerks away, but it doesn't leave. It keeps circling with its eyes locked onto you. You push forward again with your jaws stretched as wide as they can go. For fringeheads, this isn't just defense. It's a warning that says if the eel wants the crab, it'll have to risk its own life for it. For a long moment, you and the eel hover face to face, neither moving. Then it turns and drifts back into the ocean. You snap once at its tail to drive it off, then drag the crab into your crevice and crush it against the rock until the shell breaks. You swallow fast, finishing your prize. Tonight, you manage to keep your food, but soon you'll need to defend more than a crab. You're 2.5 years old now, and something strange has been happening over the past few days. Small rocks and shells keep dropping from above your den. Sometimes they bounce off the entrance, and sometimes they land in the sand nearby, but you never see where they come from. You swim upward to investigate, but you find nothing, just reef and fish, so you drift back down, ready to give up. That's when you spot it. A mantis shrimp crouched at the base of a hole, dragging rubble out one piece at a time. You curiously hover closer. It lifts its head, staring back with eyes that move independently. You poke forward once with your jaws, then pull back. It doesn't flinch, so you poke again, almost playing with it. To you, it seems harmless, more like a crab tidying its hole than a predator. Then another fish swims past. The mantis shrimp twitches once, then lunges. Its claws strike so fast the water cavitates, and the fish explodes into pieces before you can even see the blow. What's left drifts down in a cloud of scales. You freeze. In one moment, the harmless rock thrower turns into a killer. The mantis shrimp jumps from its burrow and charges straight at you. You flare your jaws and backpedal, but it keeps coming, its claws cocked and ready to kill. You twist hard, turning your entire body and escape into open water. You don't stop swimming until the reef behind you is nothing but shadow. You never poke at the rubble again, not when it might be hiding something that can break stone with a single strike. Skip forward again, and you're 4 years old now. You leave the crack you've been hiding in, and start searching the reef for a den that can hold more than just your body. A bigger shelter means safety, and it also means females. For hours, you chase small fish out of gaps and scan the walls for openings. Finally, you find a narrow crevice with smooth sides. You start dragging out shells and rocks from the entrance until the space is clear, then wedge yourself inside to test it. The fit is tight, but it works, so you hold your position and wait. Before long, a female drifts past. She circles once, and you flare your jaws wide, showing her the space you've claimed. But she doesn't stop. She flicks her fins and disappears behind the reef. Another female comes soon after. This time you snap forward with all the force in your body, but she only pauses for a moment before moving on toward larger males. You keep your jaws stretched until they burn, but nothing changes. The females aren't choosing you. They're choosing the den, and yours isn't good enough because it's only average-sized, so you abandon it. You decide to swim into the deeper waters. Hunger burns in your chest, but you keep searching until you find something better. A wide crevice with smooth walls and a tunnel that runs deep into the rock. You push yourself inside once again and settle at the entrance with your fins pressed tight against the stone. This time it works. The first female swims towards you slowly and starts twitching her fins just as she spots you inside. Then another appears, and then a third, all drawn to the space you now own. You flare your jaws at them and 2 of them decide you're not worth the trouble. They didn't care about you. They only wanted the shelter you could provide. You let the female that stays approach closer and lay her eggs across the outer wall. You guard the entrance until she leaves, then settle back into the shadows of the tunnel. The den has given you what the open reef never could: control, and as long as you can hold it, more will come. You're 4 years and a few days old now. You finally realized what those eggs were for. You were meant to fertilize them. So you press yourself into the den, release your sperm across the walls, and wait. The days begin to stretch. You hold position without feeding, fanning the eggs with your fins so water keeps flowing across them. That constant current carries oxygen, and without it, the embryos would suffocate. The first test comes when a crab climbs over the rocks and starts walking straight toward the entrance with its claws raised. You explode forward and rip one of its claws free, driving it back into the sand. For a moment, the water clears again, but another threat follows soon after. A sculpin swims up with its mouth wide open, trying to swallow whatever it can grab. You slam against it and block the gap until it jerks backward and vanishes into the dark. Each day without food strips more strength from you. Your stomach hollows, your fins beat slower, and your jaws throb from staying open. Still, you remain at the entrance, treating every ripple in the water as another attack. At last, the eggs begin to break. Tiny bodies push through the walls and rise into the current. You keep your position until the last one drifts free. Only then do you slump against the stone, too weak to chase or feed. Skip forward, and you're 6 years old now. Your body is scarred from years of fighting. But you still leave your den to hunt and chase a small fish. You snap at one's tail, but it twists at the last moment and escapes into the reef. The movement forces you down, and you slam straight into a patch of sea urchins. The spines drive through your side and lodge deep inside your body. You shake with all your strength, but every movement forces the spines further in. Your first thought is to return to your den, but when you swim up to it and press against the entrance, the spines extend outward and catch on the rock. You push harder, trying to force your body through, but the spikes jam tighter and block the way. So you back out with blood clouding the water and move along the reef to find another shelter. Every crevice you test is too narrow. The spines scrape and lock you in place. Without a hole to hide in, you are exposed in open water, and here a fringehead is nothing but prey. Soon after, predators begin to circle. Their shadows pass over you, but each one turns away. The spines that protect sea urchins now protect you. They make you too risky to bite and swallow. That protection comes at a cost, though. With no shelter, you cannot ambush food, and with your body torn, you cannot chase it. The wounds grow worse as the days pass. The flesh around the spines begins to rot, and your body grows thin. In the end, you sink onto the sand and stay there. Life as a fish might be rough, but there's another animal out there that has it way worse. Trust me, it's wild. Check out the video and see for yourself.